I haven't been pulled over for any copious amounts of weed or anything like that, but I did get pulled over speeding back actually to watch an Arsenal game with my dad after work.
Of course.
But I said there was like a family emergency, but it didn't fly. So I ended up getting a ticket for, I was going 76 and a 55 in Virginia, where they just like, so technically over 20 miles per hour, that's reckless driving. And so that can.
And you're already out?
An issue, yeah.
You're already out of jail?
What's up? I'm
already out of jail for that?
And he ended up writing it for 74. And my mom, who's apparently just gotten tons of tickets in her life, was like, you got to contest it. And I was like, there's nothing to contest. Like, I was clearly going way too fast.
Were right.
I like told them they were right or whatever. And she's like, no, just go contest it. Because there's some court fees attached in Virginia. $80, no matter what, whether you go or not, it's $80. And it was really annoying. And she's like, you should just go. So I go and pay for parking over there, which is just feels like an insult as well, because now I'm paying to be at fucking court.
Mm-hmm.
So I go over there, and it's this official ass court. Now, I've been to DC court and I've been to Virginia court. DC court, it's like 12 people in a room, and they're like, no, yours stands, yours stands. Yours is good, you're fine, yours stands, etc. Virginia, the judge, gown and everything, and, you know, you got lawyers, you got all these kids who clearly were driving, like, you know, drunk and like have their like families paying for lawyers. And they're like, okay, we're just moving the case. I've seen like 6 different kids have their case moved. Then I go up and look at the officer. He looks at me and literally looks at me like, what the hell are you doing here? And I'm like, my mom told me to come here. And so then the judge looks at me and he's like, all right, so you went 74 and a 55. Like, you have anything to say? And I was like, yeah, you know, I've got a.
Who's actually going 76?
Yeah. And I was like, got a pretty clean driving record. I'm sorry, you know, you know, I'm not going to do that again. Clearly.
Pretty
but
clean
yeah, no,
driving record.
No, it is clean. That was my only ticket at that point. And literally looked at me almost like a hand of poker. Like he's staring me down to figure out whether he's calling, raising, or folding. Goes 150, which meant that he actually raised the price of my ticket post me saying, I'm sorry. And like, yeah, I'm admitting I did it. And I'm just letting you know that, yeah, I'm not going to do that shit again. So to sum it all up, I get pulled over. I get a ticket. I pay additional court fees. I pay for fucking parking. Then I show up and the judge raises the price of the ticket.
Don't
and then I go home.
Fight tickets.
I didn't want to.
Never fight tickets. I got pulled over
Did you call your mom?
Immediately.
For fight the ticket.
And I got pulled over for being on the phone while driving. Now.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.
Welcome to District Divided. I am Amit Singh. Joining me, the usual suspects. Matt Regan back home from Michigan, back in the 202. I got K-Dot. I got Spencer Brudigan. I got LC. It is good to see you all once again. We are DC Sports Podcast, and we're going to be talking about the Wizards. Their season is over, but now we talk about the offseason. Should they trade for a big star? The one we're going to talk about, Kristaps Porzingis. The Mavs got knocked out of round 1. And there are rumors bubbling around his name. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to jump into some just general NBA playoff talk. We had some dollar bets last week. We're going to cover those. And then we're going to talk about, no hate debate this week, your favorite road trip snack or drink. And so we're going to go around the room and talk about ours. And then we're going to conclude with the State of the Union, your DC Sports wraparound coverage segment. We're going to be covering the Spirit, the Mystics, Old Glory, Washington football team nationals. You name it, we cover it. But first, guys, 2 things. How bad was that Floyd Mayweather-Logan Paul fight? That's 1. And 2, how good at the exact same time was that USA-Mexico game?
Nice.
USA-Mexico. I feel like we haven't beaten Mexico in 20 years. It feels like forever.
That's probably right.
I think it was 12.
Was it really 12?
12?
Here's
the thing. I know nothing about soccer, but for some reason that number's sticking out.
Yeah,
because
actually,
I heard it.
That sounds about
feel
right.
Like they said that.
Yeah.
Landon Donovan, he probably got one.
Look at me dropping soccer bombs.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, there was
That was
a
a
while.
great game.
There was a while where it was kind of back and forth, 50-50 for like a 4 to 6 year stretch, and then since that goal that Mexico scored in the Gold Cup final, where they like chipped Tim Howard, ran around. Was that Dos Santos?
Dos Santos, yeah.
I feel like US has not won since that game. That's probably correct, but US is fun to watch. I mean, dude, Pulisic and Rain on the wings. I mean, that's like, I feel like most club teams in the world would take that combo.
I
I
want to
thought
look at
Gio was buzzing. I thought every game that I watched, I only really watched the Honduras Mexico game, but it's nice. It's nice to have this team. I mean, back line is still questionable. Still some things to work out there, but hey, man, beating Mexico feels good.
My question was, they're playing Dest as a like a wing back in the mid. I would put him in the back. I feel like he's a good defender. He's got a good build about him. He's fast. He can still move forward, but to play him at mid, I feel like you're removing a valuable defensive asset there.
So the U.S. is playing that sort of 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 where they had the two wingbacks, and Dest plays that a lot for Barcelona, and he has played it a lot in the U.S. system. He's just so creative when he gets forward. So I didn't hate the move to play him in midfield, but I get what you're saying. But overall, he had an okay game. Like Matt was saying, I loved Pulisic. I loved Reina. Him shushing the Mexican fans was epic. I know the game was in Denver, and all the Mexican fans are like, "How are you shushing at home?"
Do you think he was shushing the Mexican? Because I felt like, I don't know. I feel like
not American fans.
I mean, I've heard some critiques of like him, and I don't know. I feel like he was kind of shushing the haters as well. Like it wasn't just the Mexican crew, which was insane. The amount of Mexican fans that were in Denver.
Why were there so many?
Yeah,
I don't want to get into it.
Dude, they're just listen.
It was
diehard
insane.
supporters. It was insane.
That was
it had everything.
It looked like
it
a home
literally
game.
had everything. It looked like a home game for Mexico. 130 minutes. It was 130 minutes because it went plus 10 in that second.
They added 5
extra time.
Added
extra
5.
Time. Went to
that
10.
Happens.
There were skirmishes. People were getting after it. Fans were throwing shit onto the field. The quality of the game itself. Diego Lainez from Mexico is a dangerous player. That dude was so good. He scored within a minute of coming on. But Weston McKennie hits back. Pulisic hits that. Shout out Ethan Horvath. What a save on Andres Guardado. That felt like the shift that sort of the Dos Santos goal had back in the day for Mexico.
Do you think
awesome.
Since that night, do you think Ethan Horvath has slept? Or do you think he's just reviving, just rethinking about that moment?
At the time of this recording, he probably has slept for 1 hour, and it started.
He probably took a nap and dreamt about it. He took a nap, dreamt about it, save, and then woke up.
How could it be better?
He was he's out of contract at Club Brugge, so pretty good time to have a free agent performance there.
Yeah,
that was insane.
That's incredible. Arsenal's looking for a goalie, right?
But seriously, think about like the life of a sub keeper is really hard. The odds you'll get in are really low. And this kid was just all of a sudden called in, had a couple massive saves, and then saved the PK to win the fucking title. You don't get that.
Yeah. He had a spectacular game, a spectacular save even on an offside, I remember, where he was offside, but it was point blank and he still saved it. What an amazing game, and what a terrible fight that Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul had. Floyd Mayweather was chilling. It
Did you guys
like
watch it?
No, I just saw highlights, and it's one clip. Where like Logan Paul's like just doing this the whole time.
Do we successfully have all of us did not watch that piece of shit?
Yeah, did not watch it.
I did not watch that.
Good. I'm proud of this podcast for not subscribing to that horse shit.
Wait, who's is the piece of shit? Were you talking about a specific person or just the event in general?
Fans that bought into
the event
it
itself. Yeah. Like if you got into this, you are a messy bitch. Like that's what you are. Like you bought into the hype. You bought into the cap stealing bullshit. It was a cash grab. I mean, Floyd said it multiple times. He kept saying out. This is a robbery. Like it's just a robbery. Yeah. Like this is what it was.
He literally said, they asked him, like, do you care if you lose the undefeated record? He was like, I don't care. Give me the check. Literally said, like, give me the check. Like,
he made $30 million before they fought.
Yeah. No, there was nothing there about it.
How much did he make?
Is he out? Is he out of money now? I don't know why a guy like him would ever do this. Like, honestly.
Because it's $30 million and there's 2 or 3 more fights lined up. Like, why wouldn't you?
Kadeen, you just said that you would take the $5 million in the iconic moment. You wouldn't sell out. And now Mayweather has iconic moments.
Because he already has them. He already has them. He's 49-0.
But he wants more money.
Why would he make more money?
He's getting $25 million a year. And the iconic moments.
You need more Birkin bags to put the cash in the Birkin bags to put him in another Birkin bag. This is what he needs. This is fucking play around money. When you see him in a gold-plated Bentley, you're like, yeah, this is the Logan Paul money. You're like, all right, cool, whatever.
I mean, he did know he wasn't going to lose.
These are ungodly amounts of money, man. These are insane. And then you see what they did after the fight. He says, which one was it? Was it Logan or Jake? I don't even fucking remember.
Logan.
Logan. Man, I didn't expect him to be this good. They're already setting up the next thing. He's going to fight Jake Paul. A bunch of jackasses are going to pay for that bullshit. They just know it's going to get set up. There's several more of these coming.
I really want to know who's
How did the
watching
Pauls
it to
get
be-
famous?
Get all the money.
I have
YouTube.
no idea.
YouTube.
YouTube, but I don't know what specific.
They were one of like the earlier sort of random content YouTubers
Yep.
that just did like funny shit and got popular. Like semi-funny shit. But they were like early wave before everyone wanted to be a YouTuber.
Gotcha.
They're like pre-David Dobrik, like they are old school YouTubers. And then just the controversy, like the Suicide Forest thing in Japan,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
they
I
like
remember
it's that's those guys. Like they made millions off of being like just the first out of the gate when the YouTube shit.
It's a
Shit,
timing
well,
thing.
yeah, that stuff happens all the time.
That's the thing. I don't blame the Pauls. But if you're Floyd, you're fucking up. Like, you just stop, man. Just stop for the betterment. Like, I get it. It's a big payday. So I'm more blaming the fans that there's a market for this.
I don't know. Who are you mad at here?
It's kind of
Are you mad at Floyd?
Whoever paid for
I'm
it.
sorry. You got to
Do you-
be mad at the fans.
do you get
Ultimately,
mad at
for
Dre-
being
like-
that gullible because
Right.
they agreed to fight. They're going to fight. But for you to think it's going to be a good one is on you.
All right,
Because
question,
Floyd,
though.
Floyd tends to just dodge most of the time and occasionally gets a hit. That's who he is. And if
I'll
you thought he
never-
was suddenly going to be something different at age 44, it's idiotic.
I will never pay for another Floyd fight again. But I said that back when he was like 44 now. It's
How
boring.
old?
Like,
He's
it's
old
sweet
now.
science.
He's 44.
He's 44. Like, he's amazing. One of the best ones we've ever seen do it. But Lord knows it ain't a fucking fight I want to watch. Like, it's just unwatchable shit. And if you put him against a fucking amateur YouTuber with an 0-1 record,
So it was distributed on DAZN, right? That was the only place that it was streaming. It wasn't broadcast anywhere. ESPN didn't have it.
It wasn't
was
like
Showtime.
an HBO.
Showtime had it on
Are you
the
sure?
there.
You sure it was
because
Showtime?
it was Deezus and Miro, who apparently, like, that's a reason I would have wanted to tune in, was Deezus and Miro were doing the commentary.
But Kadeem, do you have any? My question is: so he made 30 million. Logan Paul made what, like 20, 15?
Something like that.
How? Honestly, I feel like there's no way that they recoup their costs. There's
Right.
no, there's
That's my
no
question.
way that the pay-per-view paid for that. That
Yeah.
the sponsorships paid
I
for.
wanna
it.
It's
see
not
the
only the
numbers.
pay-per-view. It's not only the pay-per-view. It's the lead. It's every YouTube video that they put up to get an ungodly amount of hits that are then
But
sponsored
I don't
by
think
X
that
company.
I
No,
feel like
wait,
that
wait,
can't.
no way.
It's
They
a
would-
lot
Are you checking us
of
the people that
money.
aired it? The people that aired it didn't get their money back, or
Whoever paid
Mayweather
for it.
and Paul didn't get it back.
Oh no, Paul and they made their
Yeah,
cash.
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
saying whoever
okay.
put on the fight, the fight exhibitor.
Whoever paid Floyd,
There's no way they made
they didn't get
$50
the money.
million.
Sorry,
Yeah, I think they cleared it.
D
absolutely
Zone.
cleared it.
Yeah, D Zone. I'm not. I never even heard of them. So maybe this is. Are they
Yeah, I don't
popular
even-
in the box?
Da-
So maybe this was
Dazn,
like a.
DAZN, whatever it is they call themselves.
Does
'cause
that,
it's
aren't they
just
like
stupid.
Canadian or something like that? Is that the?
I should have
Canadian
Scott
stuff? I can't
Rogalski
remember.
went over to them after he was done with HQ. If you guys know who that dude is, but I don't know. But the Showtime thing. You're looking at the advertising dollars. You're looking at the fact that regardless of where you go, you're hearing about this shit, which then gets more advertisers excited. There's enough people just talking about the shit and showing clips of the shit that it's worth a mint. Just people get the way.
But
that we
who?
look
But
at
what are
things
they? What are
is
you
odd.
buying? What are you buying from them?
It's-
So, but like we hear right. We hear about it. It's like become a part of our culture. Oh, the Floyd fight and Logan Paul. But like, who's buying from that? You know, like we hear about it, but I'm not running out and buying Nikes. I'm not running
So
out. And
I didn't
buying,
watch. I haven't even watched a clip of it. But if you want to see, all right, what advertisements are in the ring? What advertisements are on the side of the ring? What do we have as far as the entry? Like, there's a lot of ad revenue alone that you're making off of these fights to make up a lot of money. Like, where else do you have somewhere? It's not like I was just
That's
watching
so
a Friends
surprising
reunion.
to me.
Watching a Friends reunion, and you see the finale had like 50 million people watching. To get 50 million eyes on any one thing today in this society is insane. But to have, when you know that you can have an event, and every time you put on an event, you have maybe 10 million people, 20 million people that you're guaranteed are going to watch your shit, that is worth something. It's worth a lot to anyone. The fact that you can turn on Fox Sports, NBC, ESPN, every podcast, every YouTube channel, they're all talking about this shit. That's all it takes is enough just talking in the zeitgeist. Somebody's going to pay you for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think ad revenue is absolutely insane. I don't know if they cleared it. I'm guessing they did, but who knows? Who knows? But what we can do is let you guys know next week, if we did, we have to move on to the Washington Wizards. They got two superstars, you could say, Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. should they add a third one? More specifically, Kristaps Porzingis. Apparently, he is tired of being not even the co-star to Luka Doncic, but just the second guy. He wants more shine. That seems to be what the situation is for him. My question to you guys is, now we've seen what he's capable of. He can be incredible. Is it worth trading for Kristaps Porzingis? Matt, I'm going to start with you. You look perplexed there.
I don't think the league views Kristaps Porzingis as a positive asset at this point in time. He is not the number 2 guy in Dallas. I would say Brunson, Hardaway, Finney-Smith are all the second. So if Dallas wants to unload that contract, they clearly do. They're going to build. I think we could probably take on Porzingis, his contract, which is crazy. I don't even know how the salaries would work out. It'd be something nuts. And maybe even get like a first-round draft pick or something. Then I'd consider it. But by no way should DC be giving up assets to get Porzingis. No way.
That's fair. Elsie, what do you think?
I think, I mean, if it's, and I didn't read his reasons for wanting to leave, but if he's tired of being number 2, I mean, you're going to be number 3 behind Beal and Westbrook. So good luck with that. So that wouldn't even help him. And if that's his real sort of like issue with that, there may be other issues that we don't know about with the organization or the coaching or something. But I also don't know, excuse me. I mean, basketball speaking, like I would think, I do think that the forward, the center forward is a position that we probably need some talent, clearly. And I don't know. I mean, I guess he's, a very good shooter, right? For a center, somebody who can maybe open up the court so that then Russ and Beal can penetrate. So that makes sense to me. Like a center that can shoot can be an interesting asset. But I don't think, I mean, could you call it a big 3? I mean, maybe, but Porzingis would need to be playing at maybe at like early. Was he playing the Knicks before? Was that his?
The Knicks.
Team? He would need to be playing at like start Knicks level for that to work. If he's playing anything like the last year, I don't think it'll make a huge difference for the Wizards.
No, I find myself agreeing. Kadeen, what do you say?
No. Absolutely no. Like you did what you could to try to flip the John Wall contract into something positive. You get Russell Westbrook, it was an upgrade. It was very much it was a flip, it was a coin flip as to whether or not it was going to get upgrade. But hey, you lucked out. You're not going to press your luck with another guy with $100 million plus salary who ever since that year with the Knicks where he's been injury prone and a fucking malcontent. Why would you want that on your team? Like even the other podcast I do, James is a Dallas Mavericks fan, and he is blowing up her phone nonstop about he'll take anybody for KP. Because it just doesn't work. Like, he's shown flashes this year. You probably point at like 4 or 5 games where you're like, oh, shit, Kristaps is back. But majority of the time, my nickname for it is Dirt Nowitzki, all right? He ain't the other fucking guy. Like, he's just not that dude. You cannot pour that much salary into someone who has been unhappy in the last 2 teams that he's been on and can't completely stay healthy, and you don't know what you're getting unless you're flowing the entire offense through him. And nobody wants to flow the entire offense through him. So it's just it's a non-starter. For the Wizards, absolutely not. I will say that there was one guy that I really wanted Washington pick up before the season, and that was my man Blake Griffin. How you liking Blake Griffin right now, Matt? I'm just
I'm glad he learned how to dunk again. That's crazy.
Telling you guys,
didn't dunk for 2 years, and now he's dunking over Giannis.
I had a feeling that his Detroit rubs off on people. But
well, I actually hold nothing against Blake. He did carry us to the playoffs 1 year, basically ruined his body to take us to the 8th seed, get swept by the Bucks. So I got no problem with Blake, but that is a little bit of bullshit.
we will definitely.
If I had to pick right now between Blake and Kristaps, I'd say Blake's contract right now, short term, with the squad we have, over I'm taking a Kristaps. Because Kristaps right now, he's going to – that's a cancer in your locker room waiting to happen, especially with the squad that we have. Because they're not going to run an offense through him with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal on the
And beyond, just a quick one, beyond the point of like the contract and all that, I just feel like, you know how we were talking about how Westbrook is the guy that's going to pick everyone up? Like, if you can get an energetic, big attitude center which is a good position to have somebody like that. Like that could really help sort of psychologically, and so it's not all on Russ to get us up. Porzingis is not gonna pick anyone up. Like the dude is just fucking boring to watch. So I would think if you're gonna get a center, which clearly we need somebody big, like I think we need a player in that area of the court, then I would also be looking at not just the basketball, but just the attitude wise too. Somebody who can pick your team up, who can get that dunk and get the whole team riled up and force a timeout. Because we really only have Russell that does that. Sometimes Bradley.
I must have a contrarian thought on this. I have two thoughts on it. First, you guys are a little crazy on this one. I think that in order to make this work, you'd have to give. I did the trade finder to make the matches. You'd have to give Ish. You'd have to give Bertans, and you'd have to give either Robin or you'd have to give Raul Neto in order to, or you could throw in Hachimura if you want to give more talent away. But it's got to be 3 players essentially, and you've got to give up Thomas Bryant and Bertans in order to make it work. And at first thought, I'm thinking the guy's a bona fide star. That is significant value for those 3 players. Especially if it came with a pick, and to just throw the 3 of them together, crazier things have happened than a guy who has had some major off the court issues. And I think, Matt, you are right. Not a lot of people want him in the locker room. But those things aside, we've had players in the past that have come into a system. That being said, the Wizard system is not the right system for him. If it was not Scott Brooks, if you had like a winning coach, a winning attitude, and I think a negative is that he's coming from a winning system. I think the Mavericks and the ownership there and the coaching is really good. And so I would say it is scary to think about, well, why is he trying to leave? He's obviously unhappy. But crazier things have happened. And I think if you were to give up Bertans, Thomas Bryant, and Ish, that's a good trade, I would say, if you're just giving those 3 up. The one thing I would say about it is that Bryant, I'd like to see him play starter minutes. And I'd like to see him play an entire season, because when you look at their advanced statistics, they're actually pretty similar, except Kristaps is a better 3-point shooter. But as far as like their PER and their plus minus, they're kind of similar. And it's just that Kristaps plays a lot more minutes. And I'd be interested to see what Bryant does playing 36 minutes. But if you could get him for those 3 guys, I'd take the experiment. You've got old stars, right? Brad's in the final years of his prime.
That's true.
Westbrook's in the final years of his prime. You're not getting any better, so you're either going to have to dump those guys in 2 years or bring on a crazy, wild thing. Go for it. At this point, who cares? You've got Brooks as your coach still.
That's not terrible logic. Now, like the Wizards are kind of screwed like 5 years from now. Wizards are going to be terrible in 5 years, most likely, unless they trade Brad for like a ton, and that works out. But I agree. I totally agree that. If I feel like everyone wants to play in Dallas now, like Mark Cuban seems like the owners that a lot of players like. Rick Carlisle has been a winning coach. Players seem to want to play with Luka. I mean, I feel like most players like playing there. So if you can't fit in there and a team that was like an exciting team in the league, good luck in DC. I mean, this is nowhere near as fun of a team to play for.
Yeah, I think the Luka thing that people are going to start. I know that I've been hearing some rumblings already. I don't know if I buy it, but is Luka going to just be a guy who's hard to play with because of how much he holds or touches the rock? Depending on if you're second fiddle, there might be something that's kind of brewing there. But the thing that I'll say to Spencer's point is, to me, you have the situation with Russ's contract. You have the situation with Brad's contract. You have some up-and-coming guys, and Denny Avdia, who I'm still excited about because I thought he looked pretty good before he got hurt. Rui, who looks like he's starting to come into his own and could be a legitimate 3rd guy on the team. Why would I take Kristaps' contract in that sort of situation where if the experiment doesn't work out, I have nowhere I can put this man? And like, I don't want to get another injury-prone guy and be locked in to then have to say, all right, well, we got to wait for this contract to end again for us to be able to do things or be able to spend money. Like, I know I heard this week that Ted Leonsis is finally talking about spending into the luxury tax because he thinks that, like, hey, we haven't done it yet, and I'm willing to do it now if I actually think we can put together a contender. And it looks like we're going to start doing some shit like that. I just don't want to get tied to something that much when we have this young group of guys that you want to have some money and cash flow to do some things with. Off base.
So I've listened to all your points, and they're all really good. So right off the bat, he does have an attitude problem, it seems. And that seems to be very clear. And he seems to be not a positive asset, as Matt had said.
And
now,
he's had accusations against him too, beyond that, right?
Right. But here's the thing. And this is where I think I do side with Spencer a little bit, simply because of what Tommy Shepard said, the GM for the team. He's willing to take some swings. He knows that we can't run it back the exact same way that we did this past season. Spencer, I think a few of the guys you'd mentioned in the trade machine, I think they're actually out of contract. So it would have to be Denny Avdia potentially instead of Ish Smith or Robin Lopez. So like to make that money work, right? And Bertans would have to go. And I don't think Wizards fans would have a problem with Davis Bertans going. So in that respect, you maybe gain something a little bit, right? Because then somebody else gets minutes for Bertans that can maybe play defense and you can sign somebody else. Who knows? But what you can get from Porzingis is potentially amazing production. Because playing with a guy like Russell Westbrook, who does dish it a lot more than people had expected, at least DC fans were like, we got John. He's the facilitator. He does all this. Russ takes some bad shots, but he just averaged a triple-double on the season. So you want to see what you can get out of that guy, because if you're not trading for him, I don't know who else is out there to make this work. Otherwise, you got to blow it up. Then you got to trade Brad. You got to maybe trade Russ, or you keep Russ, let him grow with the young guys a little bit, and then that's it. So if you really want to make a run at it, can you guys give me another name that's going to be available? Because maybe it's DeMar DeRozan, but he doesn't shoot the three ball very well. Porzingis shot it at 38% this past season. You can do something with that, especially if you're not moving Thomas Bryant and Daniel Gafford. Then all of a sudden you can play a big lineup with him. He's injury prone as hell, but if we're talking about swinging and taking chances, this might be it. This might be the best shot to move forward, and it's high risk. I get it, but let's see what happens. That's where I'm at.
It would be a gamble. I think it would be a gamble, and it wouldn't be a sure thing. I mean, nothing is a sure thing.
Ted Leonsis needs to get the contract paperwork signed up to make sure that Kawhi Leonard gets 60% ownership of the Wizards if he just chooses to opt the fuck out and come on to DC so we can get some defense going with this goddamn team and get another killer as far as the shooter. That'd be a nice move. I know that's probably not going to happen. I get the idea of just trying to experiment for the sake of experimenting. I just don't like Kristaps. I just think he himself has become an issue and he's a liability for a team now.
I don't either, but to me, it's him, or it has to be you pray Kawhi chooses to opt out and is available. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening. So it really is Kristaps. Maybe like, look, Jeremy Grant's a good name, but he's not that. Like, that's just not who he is. So then you're blowing it up. So it's either blow up Porzingis or maybe DeRozan, and you're praying either way. That's what it looks like.
Stay away from Jeremy Grant.
What about sending everything for Dame? Who here would give everyone up? I would,
but I would accept.
But then what?
Anyone?
Then you kind of have Dame and who else? I agree, Spence, to the point where like I really think the Wizards, whether you call it a championship window, like their run is so tied to Russell Westbrook's contract. He's got 2 years left, right? Making $40 million. I mean, I don't know if he's even viewed as a positive asset in the league. Like a championship contender is probably not looking at a Russ right now. So I kind of see what you're saying, and maybe just go for it with Kristaps, because like Kristaps would just be one extra year. Your team, if it doesn't work out, you're kind of screwed anyways. But I really just don't think there's that great of a future for the Wizards. Like, Kadeen, you talk about the young core, but like Rui's a good player, but like, do you see him being really a third piece in a championship core?
The issue that I have with Rui, I think that Rui can be, but I don't see the other pieces of the team anytime soon being that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he could be a solid number 3, but Russ isn't going to get any better. Brad is getting older. And even if he's a good 3, you got 2 declining stars in that sense with that guy. Not really. Like, the idea that I would have, if anything, is Kawhi goes to Miami to go play with Jimmy because that's what he wanted to do. Miami offloads a bunch of guys. Wizards go picking up some scraps. Go try to go get Pascal Siakam. Like, just go run through everybody and just bring them home. Just bring a crew. Just go out there and get a bunch of mid-tier guys.
The only other option is you pick up a shit ton of shooters. Watching the NBA playoffs now with the Wizards out, all these teams can shoot from outside. And it was really just for us, especially once Bertans went down just for that final game, it was Brad needed to hit everything. And if he didn't, we were going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. We don't have enough shooters. So if you're not going to go for Porzingis, the only other way, and again, you got to hit on every single free agent, is get a lot of 3-and-D guys. That's about it. Any final thoughts on this before we move on to general NBA playoff?
One last thing is just for me is I think Kristaps is a above average defender too. He's a huge man and he clogs lanes. He has pretty mobile feet. And I think that he actually would probably help the Wizards on the defensive side as well. So that's one minor other plus.
Yeah.
He looks soft every time I see him, but I.
So final votes, let's say. Matt, yes or no, trading for Porzingis?
Spencer kind of convinced me, but I'm still going to say no.
Okay,
I mean, obviously it depends what the trade is, but no.
Okay, still going to say no. Kadeen, what do you say?
No, but if it happened, I mean, I'm here to watch it.
Okay. Elsie?
Yeah, I'm with Kadeen. I mean, I do think it depends a little bit on who's going. Because I just foregoing your whole future for this experiment. But yeah, I would still stick with I would prefer not, but if it happens, it's not like I'm going to be really disappointed.
All right, Spencer?
I'm going to say yes, but I think that if it fails, this is the thing that ends like everyone's time as far as coaching.
Everyone dies,
and everyone just dies. And I am really high on Thomas Bryant. He's 23, and I think he actually could be very, very legit. And we haven't seen him play 36 minutes a game.
I'm gonna go yes, only because I don't think there's anybody else out there. It's worth the swing, and like we've been talking about with the contracts, if this doesn't work, it's just going to be it's going to be a tough 2-3 years, and then we can start over with the new first-round picks and just sort of see what happens there. Any trade that includes Thomas Bryant or Rui Hachimura, I say no to immediately. That's what I will also say.
Agreed.
Because I also love Thomas Bryant.
Dollar bet that plays out in 3 years. Do the Wizards get higher than a 6th seed in the East in the next 3 years?
In the next 3 years, this is something very easy to track. I'm going to say yes. Within the next 3 years, we will get something higher than a 6th seed. I could see us having a very good regular season because I think Russell Westbrook has very good regular season teams. Sort of what you were talking about with Chris Paul. I think we are going to end up having a very good regular season, get higher than a 6th seed. Yes.
I'm saying no. No.
Okay. Anybody else want in on that?
I'll say yes. I can see the East getting weaker too.
I'm sure this pod will still be around in 3 years.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, it'll definitely be around in 3 years.
I think it's
very
weird.
healthy.
I don't think Milwaukee will still be in the same incarnation they are.
Right.
I don't know about Brooklyn. I don't think you can sustain that.
No.
Philadelphia is always going to be in the mix because they're not offloading anybody. Atlanta's getting better. Boston.
But you just got to get to 5.
Boston's getting better.
I don't know about Boston. Boston, the whole Brad Stevens thing is just. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable enough to make the bet.
It's $1 in 3 years.
It's $1 3 years from now.
Hey, it's like $1.06 with inflation. Okay.
As a man who's been poor before, I don't know what 3 years looks like for me. Okay. It went a little heavy on Dogecoin this year.
All right. Well, anyway, moving on. This is a pretty healthy debate here. Moving on. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. I want to begin first with something Spencer said on District Divided last week. Please take a listen for about 20 seconds here. What were you going to say, Spence?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think if we go back, and I don't want to pump myself up, I think I called Bucks in the East. I think that was my pick when we started this a couple weeks ago. They're looking way scarier than when it was even at that time. I think they've overcome a lot of adversity. They had a game winner from a guy that was not named Giannis, and they're looking really scary. I watched their previous game, and that defense is just on another level. And Giannis looks clicked in. They're really scary. I think they're going to crush whoever they meet in the East.
All right, Spencer.
Words of wisdom.
We're starting to keep receipts, boys. Do you stand by that right now with the Nets up 2-0 in the fashion in which it's occurred?
I am going to stick with it. Obviously, they're not going to crush. I was looking at their shooting percentages. There is no way that the Nets continue to shoot the way that they are, and the Bucks are going to emerge victorious in that series.
Ooh,
7.
It looks scary, all right.
Really? Doubling down.
Are we doubling down? Is it a dollar
They've
bet?
done it without their former MVP, James Harden.
You don't have to accept this dollar bet, but bet the Nets beat the Bucks in the series.
I'm gonna just stick with it.
He's in.
I appreciate that.
He's in. All right, dollar bet it is.
He can't fall now, man. You just play the audio. He can't fall now.
I mean, it's crazy. It wasn't even the dumbest thing he said last episode. He did say that a meter is shorter than a yard.
See how convincing he was in the last segment. Some of you guys were like, "Oh, maybe we should trade," and he almost got me too. I was like, "Wait a minute, maybe." So Spencer's just a very convincing individual, which is why we need to give his audio at times, just to remind people that as convincing as he is, sometimes it doesn't always go that way. Now, the series is still very much alive for the Bucks. They could start shooting well, they could start playing like themselves, but they haven't looked dialed in so far. Kevin Durant,
they're going home.
Looks amazing right now. Kevin Durant looks absolutely incredible. Kadeen, looks like you want to say something here. Go ahead.
So I'll admit, Spencer even got me high on the Bucks fairly recently. I'm like, all right, yeah, the Bucks look great. So there's something that going into all of this, going into the playoffs, the issue that I had with Brooklyn was, to me, I thought for playoff basketball they looked entirely too casual. They didn't look like they were dialed in. It just looked like they were just laissez-faire. We're just throwing it up like we know we're good. It's whatever. And then you hear KD talk in the press conference about, oh, yeah, these boys came to play, so it's like, we got to try now. And it's like, they're trying, and it's the most terrifying goddamn thing on the basketball court right now. It is scary. Brooklyn's fucking scary. Like, those three stars and beyond the stars, their entire supporting cast is showing the fuck up. Like, it's just... I don't know, man. Like, I loved what I was seeing from the Bucks, but I know I turned on the game and it was like second quarter and Giannis had 2 points. I'm like, it's over. Like, it's done. Like, I just feel the Nets right now, when they're trying, are that team that's going to rip your heart out immediately. And there is no way to really come back from that once they do. They just, you look up, it's just intimidating. I don't know how you get in that frame of mind. You're like, we gotta beat these guys 4 times. Like, it's just gonna sink in, and I don't think it's possible. The Brooklyn's by far, I think, the best team right now, and they are the favorites to win it all. Like, it's just what it is.
So the dollar bet of Nets versus the field look a little more okay now out of the East.
Yeah.
Is that
okay? Just checking in there.
Wait, did you have Nets for?
I had Nets versus the field out of the East last week. So
did everyone take that?
Yeah, everyone except LC. Everyone said
I don't know. You have to go back to the audio.
All I know is I had Lakers Sixers in the finals, with the Sixers winning it all. And,
yeah, why don't we go ahead and post this? You guys aren't going to see it right now, but you are now going to see standings. As you can see, Matt and Amit are at the top at 2-0. We've got Kadeen at 0-1. That was the Lakers 76ers bet, and then Spencer lost the Clippers Mavs, which is why Porzingis might be available right now. What were thoughts on that series? Now, that was really fun. Kawhi just fucking turned it on, boys.
Yeah, I think anticlimactic game 7.
I don't agree.
It wasn't terrible game 7. I mean, compared to the Bucks Nets games.
But seeing Kawhi come alive, Kawhi came alive. Like, that's the thing, is that, like, we've been waiting for this. Is like, it's always been on the fence. I'm still big on Kawhi's not your energy guy. He's not a dude that can actually, like, lead the locker room in the same sense we're talking about from an energy standpoint.
Right.
But when he's dialed in and he's just this silent assassin, he's in the zone, he's just getting shit done, you can feed off of that in a way that's fairly rare as far as certain players. Like, and when he's dialed all the way in, then you're like, oh, this is why he's a top 30 player of all time. Like, he's a great fucking guy. Like, he's a beast when he's dialed in.
Oh, I mean, even in game 6, when he was just hitting dagger 3 after dagger 3, and he doesn't put much arc on those things. He's just chucking it in there.
And you saw the team is like, get out of the way. The rest of the team is like, let Kawhi cook. Like, we're out of the way. Let him do his thing.
And I think the biggest testament to Kawhi Leonard is even Paul George had 5 fourth quarter points in that game. He looked a little more calm. He's like, I got Kawhi here. I can relax. Like, it's not on me to have to be this incredible player. Kawhi's taken over. And Kawhi understands that's what he needs to do in this upcoming series against the Utah Jazz, which should be a lot of fun. Matt, what were you going to say?
I thought it was a solid game 7, like, great series, but far and away the best one in the first round. But who's the favorites in the West right now? So the Clippers? Did they go all of a sudden from, like, counted out to now the favorites in the West? Or is it Utah?
I still think Utah. I feel like
they're all just pretty level.
Which is
weird
fun.
Because Phoenix,
that's what it's
Utah,
about.
Phoenix,
Phoenix
and Denver,
good,
I kind of think they're all like the same team, just because they're like small market teams and have like stars, and like I could throw in the Blazers with them too. They're all kind of like one in the bunch, and then the Clippers are like.
I've said for the last 20 years, the Nuggets and Jazz are interchangeable. Like, you could put a gun to my head at any particular point in time and say who's playing, and I'm like, I don't one of those teams to play out there. Like, it just, as far as franchises go, they're fucking forgettable as shit. It's just what it is. But if you're looking at the favorites out of the West, you're elevating the Clippers because Kawhi came on. Like, you see them bounce back and, like, take on adversity and come through that, and they look like a better team for it. You got to look at them and just say, because of the star standpoint in the playoffs, you're looking at the Clippers being there. But I actually think Devin Booker has ascended. Like, we are now looking at, he is, like, when you saw that list that ESPN put out about, like, the top 25 players under 25, that Booker was, like, down the list, and it was like, hold on. But then you're seeing that, like, when he showed, did you see he showed up to, what was it, to games, he showed up to the game. He
47, and yeah.
He drove in his Buick Grand National, like Jamel Hill said it, like, motherfuckers owed him money. Like, the boy is here. Like, he's here. And it's, the Suns are going to be kind of fun. I'm just saying. I hate Chris Paul, but yeah.
I mean, Chris Paul showed out game one. Now, it does have to be said. It does have to be said real quick. LC being, Argentinian and all, we are officially a Denver Nuggets podcast.
Not a Utah Jazz.
Due to
Kadin.
Facu Campasso, the
Facu.
30-year-old rookie sensation. Team. Not interchangeable.
No, because one team has Facu.
One team has Facu. It's simple as that. So we're officially a Denver Nuggets podcast. Hopefully it works better than the Georgetown podcast and the Michigan Wolverines podcast.
I'm gonna find a good highlights video and put it in the comments. So anyone who doesn't know Facu will get to know.
Please educate the masses.
It is the official kiss of death. It's the Amit kiss of death. Whenever you say, and now this team's podcast, you are killing that team. So go ahead.
Hey, again, I picked the Jazz to come out of the West. So personally, I'm sort of okay with that. I would honestly love to see any, like Matt was saying, any combination of those teams would be a lot of fun in the conference finals. These conference semifinals are going to be awesome. Who do you guys have coming out of the West? I still have Utah.
I really, really wanted like the Nuggets to win because of Facu, but it's going to be real hard to get past Arizona, the Phoenix Suns, because Devin Booker, I agree with Kadin, is just at another level. I know that AD went down, but I think the way that they took out the Lakers was just so convincing, and like they looked like they were way, way, way better and way past this. Like they were like, we got to play another game with these guys. Like it just looked very convincing. Now Utah, I don't think I've watched a single game of Utah in the entire season because, like Kadin said, they are kind of forgettable. Like, sorry, number one seed, I haven't watched them. So I honestly have no idea how good they are. But to be number one in the West, you got to be pretty good. So they got to have at least their name in the hat. But I think I would say that the Suns for me would be the team to come out.
No, I respect it. So you got the Clippers due to star power, which, hey, that's the reason I have the Nets coming out of the East.
I think they're just like, if you said preseason, who are the teams in the West, you would have said the Lakers and the Clippers. And I'm thinking the Clippers maybe exercise some demons, and now they're
Lakers out round one.
Now they're rolling. I mean, maybe playoff P is now actually playoff P.
Yeah. Okay. So Clippers, we got the Suns from LC. It sounds like K. You have the Suns as well.
I'm battling with it. Like I'm hearing everybody. Yeah. I'm really trying to come up with an answer. I'm leaning Suns, and I don't like it. Like I think the Clippers are the safe pick, but I just got this feeling about the Suns. I think the Devin Booker thing is enough. I really do at this point. But
Chris Paul lack of playoff success.
Look, as long as he's healthy,
he's around some good guys.
He may shut you up, though.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, I'm looking at Devin Booker. Like Chris Paul's not the name I'm saying. I'm saying Devin Booker's name. Like I just think that he is on another level. But I'm going to go Suns. But I mean, the Clippers, I just think are a superior overall team. And going into these playoffs, like going into the season, the Clippers were my second pick, like coming out of the West. Like it's hard to say anything. The Suns took LA's heart. They ripped them apart, and it was special to see. I mean, you never saw LeBron get that happen to him. Like,
I mean, even the dunk as time was basically done, and he turns around. What?
Just filthy,
thought
man.
So? Like he is dialed. He wasn't even an all-star this year. That is insane.
It's
It's
filthy.
absolutely insane. Spencer, what's your thought here? Western
I just want to
Conference.
first say, how fun is this that we're able to debate this fact even? I mean, it has literally been nothing but Warriors-Lakers. I mean, it was Warriors-Cavs, and then it was Warriors-Lakers. It's awesome to be able to be like,
LeBron.
hey, this is so cool that like the field is open. It's awesome. I still think the Warriors are going to crush it next year. I'll put $1 on that. But I
They'll
still
crush it. No win amount. Just they crush it.
Dollar bet Warriors crush
I
it.
think the Warriors will
Hard
be
work and
I think
respect.
the Warriors will be the Vegas favorites next year.
I'm gonna put it back a little bit for Spencer.
Okay, but who do you
Ooh.
real quick? Who do you have coming out of the West this year?
This year, my brain says Nuggets because they've got the A MVP, the almost MVP, the second banana MVP, and Jokic, and he just looks so good. But I
He's
think
the MVP.
He won the
He
MVP.
is.
Oh, is he MVP?
He won.
was
He
announced
won
today.
he won this afternoon.
Oh,
He's
hey,
the MVP.
there you go.
Yeah.
Didn't even see
The
that.
worst
news.
mustache in the NBA, but MVP.
Disgusting mustache, but yeah. So he is the MVP. But I mean, I think the Suns got it. I think that they've got the right. This is it. I can't believe it. They were so bad 2 years ago, but this is it. Chris Paul, huge difference maker.
Can I say one more thing about Ahmed's pick with the Jazz? Man, if the Jazz get to the finals, and even if they win, it's gonna be like when Toronto won, and then we all like forgot that they were champions the next year. Like nobody even.
Nobody
Toronto
nobody
were
forgot.
champions.
Toronto
It was
Toronto was a
awesome.
very
It was
memorable
a
winner.
great
What are you
No,
talking
here's
about?
the
What
thing.
are you talking about? Nobody cares.
That's just nonsense.
Dude,
But
Drake-
by putting out that you kind of
Drake
stepped
cared.
on my point because of how terrible that point was. But it was to push back on what Spencer was saying. Yeah, there's a certain part that's cool about the parity now in the NBA without these like perennial champion wins. But no, it is not better for the league that Utah or Denver is winning a championship. No one's watching that. I'm sorry. No one's watching those games.
what I'm saying.
No one cares about those guys. No one cares. Look, all I know is that how many times he won MVP today, right? And all I got to do is keep seeing photos of him as a chubby child, like all plastered all over my goddamn Instagram and
He
Twitter.
should be America's favorite athlete.
I was gonna say he
A little
represents a
chunkster.
lot of the ideals
Yeah,
as
when
well
a
as the
foreigner
food
came
pyramid.
here and took an American's job, yeah, he's number one. But
I can be
He's
Jokic.
done it all.
But he
He's done it all.
represents the American dream. You don't even have to
Yeah,
work
to
out to
whom?
be great at sport.
To whom?
Here's the thing.
awesome.
So we talked about the Phoenix Suns. They got extra shine because Devin Booker is, of course, a star, and that was sort of his coming out party against the LA Lakers. Then you've got the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George. They are clearly known entities there. And the Denver Nuggets with the MVP, Nikola Jokic, and of course, Facu, who could forget our dear Facu Campasso, chilling at point guard over there. They actually have a very strong connection. And no one talks
They do.
about Utah, despite being the 1 seed. They have
'Cause
so
we don't know
many.
them.
They have, and that's just it. And so they have so many 3-point shooters, which you need. It's been proven. You absolutely
Sure.
need them. Rudy Gobert is a fantastic defender, and Donovan Mitchell turns it on when he needs to. I think they finally
Yes, pretty
have
good.
that breakthrough, and it will be the Utah Jazz coming out of the West. But you can make very strong arguments for any one of them. That it's a joyous debate. It really is, because you could pick any one of these 4 teams and go with whatever you want, and I would agree.
I was going to make a joke that I already forgot the name of the guy you said, but I legit have already forgotten the name of the guy. What? Yeah, he's Argentinian? No, okay. I don't know. No.
I'm just gonna.
That's all you need to know, Kadeem. That's all you need to know.
no.
That's all you need.
Switching.
His name is Diego Armando Maradona.
the second coming.
Actually, if you're watching the French Open, there's a player named Diego Schwartzman, and he was born in the 80s, and you bet he was named after the Diego. So it wouldn't be crazy if he was named Diego Armando Campasso.
Incredible. All right, real quick. So just switching gears to the East. All right, so the Nets are up 2-0. The 76ers, at the time of this recording, are playing game 2. So we'll see what ends up happening. But are you guys worried about the 76ers being down 1-0 to the Hawks?
I mean, if Joel Embiid isn't, is he? I mean,
He played game 1. He got 39 points.
I just
doing his
cheated and
thing.
look at the.
It's a good. Well,
Look at
well,
the
they're
score
up.
rank.
They're up by a lot right now. I'm gonna say
I
that.
was gonna say I just cheated.
Just
I
check the
just cheated
score,
and
and
looked.
they're doing okay. No, I think Ben Simmons is gonna show up. One of my favorite
Bro.
players in the league.
Probably talk long term, like in the serious term, because this will be moot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends. Like Joel seemed fine, but he tore his meniscus right?
Yeah,
So-
he has a small. I think it's a grade 1. I think they were saying like a strain or tear or something like that. So he's playing
You
on
can
it,
play with
and
that?
it's
Is
you
is
can.
someone with a? I can feel my meniscus rattling around in my left knee.
Oh,
You can play on it. It's just they
painful?
can break in so many different ways. It's just stability kind of goes away. So like I'm
Okay.
push a grocery cart and my knee will just give out because it's just the cartilage of the meniscus will hit a certain area and it's not in there for a second and it's just
so
it's really
how
weird.
could you? So like, what would it affect his stability?
Well,
The
hold
thing
on,
is, you can-
hold on. That's what Kadeen feels.
That's what-
Dean's
that's
pushing
what I'm
of
feeling.
cards.
For
Right,
him
right.
right
He's
now.
he's a medical doctor.
It's
so.
a
Yeah.
pain. It is a pain.
If you're
thing.
listening, this is medical advice.
It's a pain thing, but the thing is,
From our
some
very
people
own
get
K-pop.
they're in the league right now. Looking across NBA, there might be 5 or 6 guys with some sort of slight meniscus tear. Just a given, just because it's something that happens like all the time. You can still play with it. It just depends on what the tear is, where the tear is, how it's torn. Is it moving around? Is it stable? There's so many different things, which is why when you say a meniscus tear with the guy as important as Joel Embiid is why I'm so on the fence about, well, I don't know how bad it is. Like if it's not bad, I still have them winning everything. Just because I'm like Spencer, just trying to stick with my original pick.
Double down. I respect it.
Doubling down. But that's the thing, you don't know. And that's the same when he was sitting down with his leg wrap in the last game, you're like, ooh, all right, how you feeling? How you feeling, big guy? You're like, I don't know.
I think so. These players are, I mean, they're elite athletes. They're able to produce even with little things like this. A meniscus tear, obviously, it sucks, but he's, again, 39 points in game 1. Bradley Beal had the hamstring issue, and he was doing his thing round 1. It's just a matter of the people around him weren't doing all that much. So Embiid, I think, is still going to be able to be himself. So if you think that, then I can totally understand the 76ers getting through. I got a sneaky feeling the Hawks are just going to shoot them out of this series. And I think the Hawks are actually going to end up winning probably in 6 games. I don't think they're going to drop any in Atlanta. Embiid's going to have to do a heck of a lot. And Matthew's favorite player, I called him Matthew there, Benjamin Simmons from Australia, who can't hit a free throw. He's shooting 34% this postseason from the free throw line. I can't get behind a guy like that. You need scoring from all
you got
positions.
behind Luka.
Well, yeah, Luka can actually hit threes. Luka can, cause mismatches. He can get 42
can
points in a
defend.
game.
Ben can defend.
But yeah, he could. Oh my God, we're not getting back into this. We
Pretty
are
much
not-
averages a triple double on the season really efficiently, and just gets hate, just
No.
showered with hate from around the league.
The Sixers, when they're serious, will trade Ben Simmons for a very, very good scorer, and they'll end up being really good. Go ahead, Spencer.
I
disagree.
I disagree. I think I don't know if the Hawks will get another one. They had an incredible shooting performance, and they're never going to replicate it again. I think the Sixers have a good enough coach in Doc Rivers, and they have good enough personnel where they're going to make some slight adjustments, and they're going to isolate Trae Young, and he is not Steph Curry, and they're going to just get crushed.
Sure. But I think there's more than Trae Young. Okay, so dollar bet. I've got the Hawks beating the 76ers in this series.
Give me the money.
Against
Give me
it.
the money.
Sixers.
I'm in.
I got
I'm in.
Sixers.
I'm in.
Sixers
I'm
for
in.
sure.
Sixers.
All right, so I've got 3 Sixers. Elsie, do you want to jump in on this one? Officially get on that board we showed earlier.
I'm gonna be your buddy. I'm with you.
Hey, there we go. All right,
I
we
got action on both.
Hawks.
Yeah, I'll take action with both.
And
me
I'm
too.
basically going against Kadeen's medical advice. That's my only basis for this.
My medical advice was I don't know what's happening. Okay.
Right. In his professional opinion, he has no idea what the fuck's
Wait,
going on.
but just for the record, fuck Trae Young. And I only say fuck Trae Young because it's what he wants. He loved the villain role that he played in
He
Madison
did.
Square
And
Garden.
I love that he
did.
loves
So,
that.
so you lollipop that got dropped on a goddamn barbershop floor. Fuck you. Like you enjoy this. I get it. You're just not there yet, kid. Maybe you'll get there one day, but do something with that goddamn.
Dude, bowing at the Garden was one of the coldest things I've ever seen. That
should
was
we
awesome.
have added Trae Young to iconic hairstyles?
If he keeps playing at
Receiving
a high
her
level,
advice.
sure.
Nah.
But he's too young.
Nah.
You can't give it to him right now.
Nah.
He
Oh,
hasn't
but
done enough.
there is one that I got yelled about that we didn't mention. Michael Jordan's bald head.
No.
No,
that's
all
a
right, we're
bald
gonna move
head,
on.
man.
Really?
Yeah,
I got yelled at by
Head
multiple
of knee.
people about it.
Well, then yell
Really?
back. Yell
I,
back. That's a
I
terrible
was like,
take.
I thought it was a good take. I mean, it's iconic to me.
Use your followers to tell
But,
them to
like,
shut up and move on.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
Okay.
things where, like, if he wasn't Michael Jordan, no one would. Yeah.
So because he's Jordan, but the same way, so same logic for Trae Young. He only just now won his first playoff series, so we couldn't have put him in there. I don't think.
No, but it's just like
I agree.
it's such an iconic bad hairstyle.
It's unique. We'll
It's
give him
unique. Yeah, the word is unique, and it's an iconic bad
iconic.
hairstyle once he wins or gets to the conference
No,
finals or
it's
something like that. 'Cause
God
it's so
made
hard
him
to
wrong.
get to the conference. God made him wrong. All right, cool. We got the title of our episode. All right, cool.
Why he got like
Moving
baby
on,
hairs? And you're like, how old are you? Like, what is this?
any final dollar bets or anything like that before we move on to the no hate debate?
Oh, we're good.
I got $1 that the Bucks win Game 3.
Game 3.
Mm. I'm
I
will-
bet the Bucks win at least 2 games.
Can I say why I'll try to convince?
Sure, go ahead. Oh, he's so
Same thing,
convincing.
very similar to the Hawks. 21 of 40, I think, was their 3-point percentage. 50% shooting 40 times. They are not replicating that. The Bucks will
They
make
being the
adjustments.
Nets.
The Nets. The Bucks also. This is their first under 100-point game of the entire Giannis being a superstar. I think in the last 3 seasons they have not scored under 100 points. It's a fluke game.
That's insane.
And if you go with Shaq had a great take where he said they just got to play inside out. Giannis statistically is the most dominant paint presence since Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaquille O'Neal just said, you've got to get him down low, give the ball to him, let him go to work, and they are going to win. And that's what
Shaq
it
has
is.
notorious trash takes.
Shaq's pretty cool though.
Shaq is 100% right on this. They play Giannis completely wrong. He should be a big man center in this goddamn league. Stop jacking up fucking threes and play like a big man supposed to goddamn play.
Do you think,
Giannis
Coach Bud?
do it.
Do you think Coach Bud was like, "Hey, Giannis, please don't go down low. Please shoot that 3." I'm pretty sure that was Giannis's own decision making over
But
there. and it was just bad.
Giannis, he's not a post up big man. He's dominant in the paint.
Yes, he is.
He can
Oh,
be.
he can. Yeah.
They don't utilize him in that way, and he can be. And it's the most annoying fucking thing because he could do that.
Yeah,
and he
I've
would
seen
be
him just-
the most dominating force in that.
Yeah, we've seen it just back into another center and just score out of will. And it's like, if you can do that in the NBA, I mean, why stop doing it?
He's the
It's just-
closest thing to Shaq that we've seen as far as like being able to be dominant down there. Like I think Shaq's dead on. We just don't see that style of play anymore. It's
So-
really
And
annoying.
if Giannis, if they get smoked, right? If they lose the series, I legitimately don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what additions you can make.
Well,
this
Coach
was-
is gone. Coach is
gone for sure. And like I don't know what you're gonna do because and also it will definitely make me think twice about Giannis as a player. I think he's a cool guy and an unbelievable player, 2-time MVP.
Would you think he's not cool anymore?
No. I just feel like it will change my opinion. Is like I just don't know if he's ever going to legitimately get one as the first banana.
Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna get it as the first banana either. He'll probably have to get it he'll have to team up, is my opinion. Because
Time to go to the Warriors. Let's just ship him on over.
Also, I think everyone's forgetting the most dominant inside force since Shaq was my guy, first ballot Hall of Famer, Dwight Howard.
Of course. Who's on the 76ers?
Anyways,
And is
let's-
why you probably have $1 on the 76ers. Had to be Dwight Howard first and
I
foremost.
just think there's a lot of disrespect. put
All
on
right.
it.
So, Spencer, I'm not going to take that dollar bet. I think when a team scores 86 points and then they're going home, they're going to turn around. I do expect them to win Game 3. The Bucks to win Game 3.
All right, I'll take a dollar bet. I think the Bucks might lose 2 games.
The Bucks are going to win 2 games at least.
Yeah.
I'll take a dollar bet there.
All right.
I'll take a dollar bet there. All right, cool. Moving on real quick, no hate debate. And then we move on to the State of the Union, your DC Sports Wraparound coverage segment. No hate debate here. Matt, we're going to start with you. What is the best road trip snack or drink? Go.
Yeah, I don't know if our cold open is going to be worked into this, but I drove back from Michigan. Got my second ever ticket. Screw that guy, my man. But then during quarantine, I've been driving back to Michigan a lot. That's an 8-hour drive, kind of the perfect road trip amount. Just get in the morning, get there, still do something at night, still there for dinner. But I have kind of a set routine on what I get. So I don't know if I would call it the best, but my go-to routine I get every time is going to be coffee, of course, sunflower seeds, and weirdly, my one like really weird road trip thing is sparkling water, which I never drink outside of a road trip, but I love it on road trips. Like I never drink it at home. I never buy it. But, like I love getting sparkling water.
Just
on road
bring a
trips.
water bottle.
I know. I also have a water bottle, but like I like sparkling water.
Bitch, you.
That's not the point, Elsie. He wants sparkling
All right.
water.
Fuck you guys. I can't wait
You
to hear
can't-
whatever the fuck
your
you're
favorite
about to
can't
say.
Are
be
you
water.
are you road tripping to Nashville for a bachelorette party? What the fuck are you doing?
I had to have called this a no hate debate at least 12 times, but I'm loving this.
you
Go ahead.
Dude,
can't
what are
favorite water.
What?
Hey guys.
I'm not saying that's the best. I'm saying that's what I do the most.
I just need to make sure.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna save what my favorite is when I want to treat myself. All right. Let's hear you, Kadeen, fucking Roadmaster.
Do you get
Let's
a
hear it.
carbonated water when you treat
Let's
yourself?
fucking hear it.
I am the Roadmaster, sir. And when you're on a road trip, you can't be thinking about things like trying to lose weight and drink your sparkling waters and your iced coffees and shit from Starbucks. Man, get
I didn't even say iced coffee.
We know
Go
what you're
ahead.
doing.
Go ahead. Say your first thing.
We know. You take
Go
off
ahead.
your
Say
Ugg
your
boots
first
when
thing.
you go a few miles too long because they get a little sweaty. I get it. It's okay. The best combo, because I'm going combo, baby. A giant Mountain Dew, because it gives you the caffeine fix. You got that sugar rush. It's just an amazing drink. Then outside of that, one of the best road snacks ever is a meat stick. And I'm talking about Slim Jims. I'm talking about your Squatch sticks. There you go. You're getting your protein right there. Not to mention easiest shit to eat while you're driving. You use your mouth, open that bitch up. You hold the wrapper right there in your hands, no grease on it. And if shit gets testy, you need to put both hands in. Well, let that shit dangle right there, buddy.
Smells. That's a bad choice. It smells. It's gonna stink up your car.
Dude,
you're driving. Your farts are gonna stink up the car. Like doesn't matter. The car's gonna smell horrible. Doesn't matter.
You're eating ranch flavored sunflower seeds.
Yeah, I did mention the flavor, but I actually did get rid No, here's why sunflower seeds are the best is because it gives you an activity to do while you're driving. You got a little something going on. You're gonna rip through that Slim Jim that was probably made in '94.
You think I'm getting one? And not to mention, I'm the jackass. When I'm at 7-Eleven, I'm feeling the Slim Jims, making sure it ain't too hard. Like I need to make sure it's got the right texture on it.
Medium
So
rare.
the same way that people check the fruit, to check the vegetables,
Yeah.
you're checking.
I gotta
the
make
Slim
sure
Jim.
that Slim Jim.
What would you
is
say?
good
What's
to
the
go.
proper technique there? Are you testing the bottom or the shaft of it or the top?
Here's the thing.
What's the
Once you
pinch?
feel one part of it, the entire thing is going to be the same deal, right? So
Okay.
you want a little. You need it to move. You need some push in it. It's got.
And do you give it a bend or is it just
no bend? It is
No bend.
ridiculous to bend. And if you get a cashier that did what the cashier did to me a few weeks ago, which you bend my Slim Jim and put it in the bag, I'm gonna bitch slap you.
So you don't
Do
want any
not
spine,
fuck with the
any-
integrity.
you
I
don't
need
want-
the
yeah.
full spine of my Slim Jim, so that when I open that bad boy up and I'm driving down the road, and if I got two hands on the wheel, you drive the stick, whatever else, you let that shit dangle and just do the bit where you're just kind of throwing it back in your mouth, just use your mouth. It's just an amazing thing. Not to mention all the varieties. You want your Tabasco? Get your Tabasco. You want your hand? Get your
That's such a terrible
standard.
take. Anyways,
It's legit,
Spencer, I want to hear
baby.
Spencer's take.
Legit.
Let's get back
Spence,
to
what you
reality.
got, buddy?
This is a big shout out to Tim. I love on the East Coast out here, out in DC. I love going to my favorite gas station sandwich shop, Wawa, grabbing a toasted sub, crushing that when I'm in the car. And generally, my two snacks after that are going to be like corn
Nuts.
like a ranch corn nuts.
Yep.
Great. And then most might go with like a chocolate covered pretzel, like some sort of chocolate for that sweet salty. But I'm a sour guy, so like I love it, like a good Sour Patch Kids bag, something like that.
Great.
So that's kind of my combo.
Those are great. Those are
Thank you.
great
Thank you.
choices.
All right, Elsie, what you got?
Nobody's gonna like this, and I don't give a fuck. My drives are usually short, maybe like 6 hours, so I don't get a full meal or a sandwich. I usually just get snacks. But my combo is I go really salty and then really sweet, and so it's sour cream and onion chips, like just really, really flavorful, and then a Snickers bar, just like. It's kind of hot already because it's been in the car for a while, so it's like just gooey and chocolatey and sweet. And then I'm gonna need about half a gallon of water to just bring it all down.
Carbonated, sparkling.
And no, it's just stuck in here, it's just disgusting. But at the end, I'm like, oh, I feel like I had a full meal. I mean, it's gross, but the flavor was just an explosion, and that's all I need. It's a 6-hour drive. It's fine. We don't drive much more than that.
I respect it. For me, I would go with, and you guys may judge me for it, I can put away some peanut butter M&Ms. I think that is great for driving.
Yeah.
It's nice and easy. It doesn't get sort of sticky like chips do. I love sour cream and onion chips, but my hands just end up getting a bit dirty. And so I can just pop those all day. And then a Gatorade, lemon lime Gatorade, love that, or water. That's normally what I enjoy on road trips.
Sparkling
Easy.
I think in the last year
Still.
I've gotten everything that you guys mentioned except for what Kadeen is. I'm not getting a large Mountain Dew.
No, I'm never getting that.
I
I'm
just
never getting
always I just had a Baja Blast today.
Oh, you did? Did you
That's
go,
different.
You went to
That's
Taco Bell.
different.
There you
Baja
go.
Blast is different.
T-Bell,
No. Mountain Dew carries all the different flavors.
You can't buy Baja Blast unless you're going to T-Bell. And
That's
T-Bell,
not true. You could absolutely buy bottles of Baja Blast.
Where?
Gas stations down. I know in Virginia I've definitely had it. And I've
He's
also
just
had,
saying random things. He doesn't have an actual name. I'm
Mm.
sorry.
no,
We're just gonna move on.
Valero gas station on Fall Hill Road in Jefferson Davis Highway, which should be renamed, in Fredericksburg. Right
Okay,
there.
so name one
they
an hour
have-
away. Name one an hour away so we can't go
It
double
was
check
what
it.
I'm doing as far as my goddamn road trips.
I think this is going to be this maybe will be a new segment. Well, Kadeen, you're going to have to report from the Valero out there.
You're live at the Valero.
Y'all rookies with your shit. Like, here's the thing. Like, I don't want foods that are gonna spill. I don't want foods that are gonna melt when they fall in between the crack of my seat. I don't want to have to clean up the big mess afterwards. Give me a trash bag on the floor of the passenger seat. Get my Slim Jim wrappers, whatever. Throw the bitches in this. Tie them motherfuckers up. Like, I'm good to go. Or like. And also, from the caffeine fix, I just like to taste Mountain Dew. It's just a thing for me. But when I'm looking to stay up, caffeine pills, motherfuckers. Like, caffeine pills are where it's at. You just pop a pill, and you're good to go. None of the sugar, none of the other bullshit. No crash. Just give me my caffeine right there.
All right. Well, clearly this debate can go on forever, but we got to wrap this show up. So it's time for your State of the Union DC Sports Wraparound coverage segment. And today I want to start with rugby. So Elsie, if you are ready, can you please give us that Old Glory update?
Yeah, Old Glory unfortunately fell one more time against the Free Jacks. It was a close game, actually, 38-34. I think the season is coming to an end, and this game had two particular big errors for the team that I think they can at least work on the short term. One was every single try by the opponent, by Free Jacks, came from a line out, which is kind of like a side throw if you play soccer. And the other team simply formed a maul, which is like basically like a moving scrum, and just moved all the way to the end goal and scored. Every single try was kind of like that. It came from a line out. And the other thing was the kicker. 2 out of 6 conversions. You got to do better than that. You lost by 4 points. Each conversion is 2 points, which means that you could have at least tied the game. They did have a play to finish, and the absolute last play of the game, they could have had an easy try, missed the pass, and that was unfortunate. But I do think that if you improve on your kicking and you work on your maul, you could have totally been in that game. So short-term goals to at least work on. It's the end of the season. You may not want to do anything too crazy long-term. So I think those are 2 points to improve.
Cool. All right. Thank you for that update. Now, Kadeen, Washington football team, what you got for us?
No news really, other than we're moving training camp to Richmond for a couple days, which just means people have the ear of Dan Snyder, and he has to listen to people now. That is the big takeaway, is that Dan Snyder is not just doing anything he wants to anymore. He's actually got a team of guys he's listening to and implementing actual shit. Oh, also the chalkboard photo shoot with the Washington players, that was pretty fucking legit. Just saying, if you haven't seen it, you should check that out.
Very cute. My name's Ryan. I'm 34 years old, etc. It was great. And Chase Young officially there because it's mandatory. Now, moving on to the Washington Spirit, another 1-1 draw with the Orlando Pride, this time at home on Sunday. Ashley Hatch, who scored against the Pride in the very first game, scored again on a header to put us up 1-0, and then 3 minutes later, the Pride scored to tie it 1-1. The Spirit are now in third place in the NWSL with plenty of games to go. There is no game next week. They pick back up on June 19th. On to the Nationals. They split their series with the Atlanta Braves 2-2, then took 1 of 3 in Philadelphia. They have now moved up to 4th place in the NL East, just ahead of the Miami Marlins with a 24-32 record. The New York Mets are the clear first-place team with a record of 29-23. And in last Tuesday's game against the Braves, Steven Strasburg exited the game in the second inning due to injury. He's on the 10-day injured list, but it sounds like he may be out for a while, so that is bad news for the team. Up next at the Tampa Bay Rays at the time of this recording and tonight. And they're been back in D.C. for close to 2 weeks, so a 2-week homestand, starting with the San Francisco Giants and then the Pittsburgh Pirates. All those games can be seen on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. Moving on to women's basketball, the Washington Mystics, a very, very close loss, 96-93 to the Las Vegas Aces this past Saturday. The Mystics are now 2-5. So again, I was saying championship team, playoff team, again, not looking good. They really need Elena Deladon back, but we don't know when she's coming back. She went on the Just Women's Sports podcast hosted by Kelly O'Hara of the Washington Spirit and U.S. Women's National Team last week to say She doesn't know when she's coming back, so even she doesn't know. Still desperately need her to return. Up next, a very busy week. 3 games. 1 at the time of this recording against the Minnesota Lynx, then against the LA Sparks here in DC tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network. And the final game of the week is on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. at the Atlanta Dream on NBA TV. Finally, DC United, no game this past week, no game next week, but one Mark Ingram invested in the team, running back for the Houston Texans, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens, which must be where the ties came from. He got 1% of the team. Apparently, DC United's valued at $710 million. I don't know how the hell they got that valuation, but apparently that's what it's at, according to, I think, Sportico and one other actual reputable website. Crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. But that's going to wrap up today's show, and that's going to wrap up your State of the Union, your DC Sports Wraparound coverage segment. This is District Divided. I'm Amit Singh. Joining me once again, Matt Regan, K. Spencer Brudig, and LC. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and share this with people. And feel free to comment. If you want a dollar bet with us, just throw it right on down there. You'll definitely get some action. Matt, what do you want there? Focused. He unmuted. I thought he wanted to say something. Anyway.
I just know Amit was lying about his road snack. It's ranch popcorn. Fuck
It is ranch popcorn.
It gets on my hands. All right. I will see you guys next week. Take it easy.
Good cover up.
Later.